I'm gonna give you 7 of the best back exercises that you can use for wrestling, and we're gonna start right now. I'm Olympic strength coach Dane Miller, and I recently returned from the Paris Olympics, and I've been to over a dozen world championships. I've even coached Nick Wazowski, who was a 2-time world bronze medalist. And one of the big factors that we've looked at is when we're thinking about wrestling back strength. I like to look at general strength, I like to look at isolation of the back, and then a sense of an applied mat strength for back-based training. So when we're doing that, the first exercise that I like to use, and this is not a traditional movement that people think about with back strength, but I think it has a huge carryover to mat strength, is going to be the actual front squat. If I get into position here, I can do a clean grip, I can do a grip like this, and I even think using a zombie stance here is absolutely phenomenal for training your core and your freaking back. And this can actually resolve a lot of back pain or a lot of back issues. Now, if I get set here, I can go down and drive up as vertically as possible. I like to think about if someone has their hand on my back or on my neck, on my head, pulling me forward, this will help me have that strength to maintain that upright posture. So to start off, building that crazy back strength, let's think about front squats, 5 sets of 3. Use this frequency, 5 sets of 5. Build up over a very long period of time, and your back is going to get absurdly strong. Now we have more general back work that we're gonna hit before we get into the isolation exercises. Okay, so the next 2 general movements are gonna be pretty challenging, but they would still be considered like general back strength. And thinking about the back, think about the erectors and the lats. So that's like in the easiest sense. That's how I look at back strength for wrestling. And the lats will play a large role in rotation. One of the cool parts is that when I was in Paris, I got to go watch wrestling. I got to see Yazdani, I got to see Helen Maroulis, I got to see Aaron Brooks, all these absolute dogs. And one of the cool things is even walking through the actual warm-up area, seeing them warming up and doing actual pummeling drills. Those things are irreplaceable. They need to continue in your training. But when we're looking at the weight room, we can do something very unique. And this is what I do with my strength training with South Dakota State. I'm the South Dakota State wrestling team's strength coach. So we try to build all this stuff into their programming. It's very similar to what you'll see inside of our strength training at Peak Strength, where we have a lot of wrestling-based programs. So we'll do a general movement like this, a pull-up, okay? And I might hit my head on that actual ring above me, but I'll go here, and I pull up, okay? Here, pull up. Here, I'm trying not to hit my head, pull up. Now, I can hang here, and this is gonna target my grip, but then I'm gonna go switch grip here, okay? So I switch, chin up, hang, boom, boom. Come back down, pull up, boom, boom. So we can do that repetitively. Now, the next movement is going to be a rope climb. We've done rope climbs where it's just a long climb, and you might do this timed. Let's say you got 5 minutes, try and get 10 rope climbs in 5 minutes. You can do donkey kongs, you can do traditional rope climbs, anything along those lines. Use those movements frequently. Pull-ups, grip switches, and then rope climbs. Now, another one. I'm gonna walk over here, and we're lucky, okay? We have monkey bars here. So one thing that you can do is find monkey bars, and you can actually go down and actually demonstrate on a monkey bar, and then do pull-ups. What we've done is I'll get set here, boom, and I'll go 1, boom, boom, 2, boom, boom, 3, and then if I'm in a little better shape, I'll go back. What ends up happening is the trunk control that you have to stabilize your abs, to stabilize your trunk from swinging all over, that goes into core work. The lats play a role in stabilization here and in actually executing the pull-up. So then when you go back, that's gonna increase that mat strength. So, and it's gonna target mainly the lats. You'll feel it in the bis and the forearms as well. But those 3 general exercises, you know, neutral grip pull-ups, normal pull-ups, chin-ups, rope climbs, front squats, have to be hammered and developed consistently over a long period of time if we wanna get that really, really good, strong back. Now, I'm gonna give you 2 more exercises for isolation, before we get into that very specific applied section. So those 2 isolation movements are gonna be sweet, and those are things that you can do inside of a commercial gym. So when we're talking about back strength, I'm gonna give you like a real cool strategy on how you can hit this. And if we think through the way that we lay out our system inside peak strength, we will lay out a week where you have like a leg day, then an upper body day, then jumps, okay, athlete day, specifically in regards to wrestling. We have endurance as well inside of our brand new update in peak strength. It's absolutely freaking phenomenal for wrestling. And when we set this up with that workout split, we're looking at like front squats can happen on day 1 on that leg day. These movements, okay, will occur on the upper body day. Now, what this would look like, I'm gonna show you here, is this is going to be a croc row. I have a strap. So with a croc row, I wanna get a large amount of weight, okay? And I'm just gonna crank on a 1-arm row. Let's say, theoretically, I'm not gonna do 30 reps, but let's say you have your wrestlers, your lightweights, so a 125 to a 149. Let's say they hit at 80-pound dumbbell, okay? So then let's say that we take the 57s to the 74s, they hit 100, okay, 100-pound dumbbell. Then let's say that we take the 84s to the heavies, and they're doing like a 120. So we can go a set of 30 on each arm. We enter into the strap, okay, and we just get this set so it's tight, and we're just 1, boom, 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 okay? 30 reps. You go both sides, 30 reps, and you're just freaking ripping, and you will feel the lat, bicep, abs get really lit up. The cool part is literally the next day your abs will be sore from that deceleration. Now, I'd go left arm, 30, right arm for 30. I drop the actual strap. Now, the crushing part here is that then I would pick this up without the strap. So I'm gonna go to about 55% of my dumbbell that I use for croc row, and I'm gonna go for another 30 to 40 reps. So I go here, boom, 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 and then switch, boom, 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 boom. So the pre-fatigue is absolutely insane. We're going heavy, so we're stimulating some good strength. Then we're doing that drop set without the strap, so we're getting some grip work. The big factor here, and Gwiz used to say this, was that a lot of this type of work is like literally the same feeling when you get off the mat. And if we can increase that strength endurance, then when you're in the 6th, 7th, 8th minute of a match, if you're in overtime, you can channel and bring in a large amount of that strength. Now, I'm gonna take you to the next movement for isolation, and this is going to be a seated row with a little bit of a twist. So we have a cool machine here that you can do this twist pretty easily, but I'll show you and I'll try to walk you through what you could do with a typical machine that you'd see at like a Gold's. Okay, so I'm gonna get set here and I'm gonna row. That's the standard row, right? Now, let's say I do 17 reps, I've got a huge pump. It's a drop set. It's like the 3rd or 4th set of the workout. My back is fried, absolutely lit up. I wanna gain more strength endurance because that's a huge part of wrestling, of fighting, of combat sports. But wrestling for sure, you need a ton of strength endurance. So one thing that you can do then is I like to, if I have a traditional seated row, I might lean forward, lengthen my erectors, and then get a little English in there, you know, get a little pump here, boom, where I'm moving like that. On our machine, I can do the row traditional here, and then let's say, okay, let's say the last set I want to do 20 to 25, and then I want to do 10 with the English, you know, the shrug. So then I go here, and I'm going to look like this. Boom, 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 boom. So now, my lats and my traps and a little bit of my delts as well get a huge amount of blood flow, and we've got to make sure that we can hold a good posture while we're executing that. So it's a really good way to have a finisher, the drop set there. It's going to target that strength endurance. It's going to strengthen your back, your lats, your lower back even because of what you're doing with that hip flexion. So these are some really good isolation movements. But now this third part, we're gonna get into the very applied aspect where I think a lot of wrestlers like to see like more of like the rotational plane stuff that's not as traditional. So we're gonna get into that and show you guys how you can apply it to your training today. Last group, I'm gonna talk about Dorian Yates, and I just wanna throw out there, in regards to strength training, wrestlers love like functional stuff, and they see everything functional, which is great. The one thing I'll say is that a lot of wrestlers are doing so much wrestling that I think general movements are perfectly fine. Just doing general movements, because you do so much functional work, meaning pummeling, grappling, and in our system, we even consider some of the conditioning stuff could be a spar session. Okay, so some zone 2 work and endurance might be hitting a sparring session. So I don't think you need to do as much functional stuff in the gym because of that. Now, some of it's still great. I'm gonna show you a couple things here. Dorian Yates, where I'm going with this, is that he talked about building the most insane back possible, strength and size. Now, we don't need a ton of size. If you're in a weight class and you got a cut, that's gonna be more based around nutrition. But he talks about doing deadlifts at the end of a training session because it just lights up your erectors. And if we can do deadlifts at the end of a session, it can be used to really, really blow up the strength of your back. And I'm gonna show you something that we can do here that's gonna be pretty well applied with that methodology. So shout out Dorian Yates. Now, what I wanna see is like 2 to 3 on each side of this first movement. And this is gonna be a goblet pickup. This is gonna be a little bit more dynamic and hard. And it's gonna be a little bit of everything. And this could be even something that you do in a circuit type setting. Okay, so I'm gonna be here. I'm gonna start with my right arm, and I'm gonna show you how we can transfer from the right side to the left side. And then we're gonna go to the second exercise, and this would be what we do on a finisher, and then we'll go to the deadlift. So I'm gonna show you how this whole like circuit could be used. And you guys should try this today. So I'm gonna get here, boom, right into that goblet, back here, okay? Put it back down, boom, goblet, back here, goblet, back down. Oh, back down. You'll feel that like crazy in your lower back, okay? In your abs, mid back as well. Now, moving over here, let's say we hit 3 to 4 on each side. Then I'm gonna get into more rotational work. Remember we talked about the lats, okay? Lats play a big role in rotation and stability of the trunk. So we hit the goblet pickups. Now we get on the med ball, and we're here. Hold the med ball. Okay, so let's say we do each side. Here. Okay, so you're gonna feel that more mid-back, more lats, 100% as well in the abs and the hips. When we're training, we have to think, what are we doing that's gonna be isolation-based? What are we gonna do that's more dynamic, and what's more applied? What we're doing right here is really applied, even with this general movement. So we go goblet pickups, med ball rotations with the band. Those are easy to set up. Really, really good functional stuff that everybody loves to do with wrestling. And then we can finish. Let's say you put on 50 to 60% of your best deadlift, okay? Now, my best deadlift, 705. This is not 50 to 60% of that, but let's pretend. Here, I get set. And I just bang out a whole bunch of deadlifts, 10 to 12 reps. We go through this 3 or 4 times. That is going to absolutely blow up your back. Okay, this is stuff that we use inside of our strength training app, Peak Strength. We train a ton of wrestlers inside there. So download Peak Strength at peakstrength.app, the Google Play Store, the Apple iOS Store. Select that you want to train like a wrestler. You want to take that game to the absolute next level. Because remember, freaks, if you want to become a champion and make the Olympics, you've always got to cultivate your power. Peace.